Good morning, I'm Megan with Heart, Mind, Soul, and Strength, and we have Corey Phillips from CP Nutrition again with us for the month of March. And Corey, tell us a little bit about what we are making today.
Yeah, so today we're going to do a healthy version of a breakfast favorite, and we're going to be making protein muffins.
Awesome. So if you have that sweet tooth and you love a little something to go in the mornings for breakfast, this is the perfect little thing that you can take with you and get your protein in and keep calories down. So Corey, why don't you share a little bit about the ingredients that are going to go into it?
Yeah, so this is basically just a standard muffin recipe that I changed to make more healthy, add more protein, etc. So here we have 180 grams of all-purpose flour, 60 grams of vanilla whey protein, 1 cup of milk, 1 large egg, a quarter cup of light butter, and 1 cup of sucralose or Splenda, whatever brand you prefer. We have a quarter teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, and then just some brown sugar cinnamon for a garnish.
Awesome. So let's get started. What do we start out with first?
Yeah, we start with the flour first.
Okay.
And for this recipe, it's basically a dunk recipe, so if you would like to, you can cream the butter and sugar first, but it's not necessary. So we have our flour. Next, we have our whey protein.
I'll get these out of
All right. Then we have our Splenda. Then we have our salt, baking powder. Then we have our milk.
Now tell them about the substitute that you can use for milk.
Yeah, so if you want to save a little bit of calories from using whole milk, skim milk is always a good choice. Or if you don't have milk in the house, you can do a quarter cup of light mayo and temper it with 1 cup of water, or the same with a light sour cream. Both of those will save some calories for you. All right, next we have our egg.
All right.
And then we have our light butter. And then once we add all the ingredients to the bowl, it's as simple as just mix them together. So the thing with butter, if you let it set out for a little bit at room temperature, it'll soften. But even if you just take it straight out of the refrigerator and mix it with the rest of the ingredients, it'll melt while it's baking as well. So this is a pretty foolproof recipe. So it's basically just dump, mix, and then scoop into some muffin molds and bake.
And I just get to do the fun part today. It's like I get to be the assistant. It's always nice having guest cooks on the show.
And one important thing to consider when baking with protein, the individual brand that you use is going to make a little bit of a difference from the way the batter rises. So I use my protein, and I've gotten used to baking with it, but depending on your protein powder of choice, you'll just have to adjust the cooking time by a minute or so. All right, we have this all mixed together.
All right. And my protein is actually the name of the protein line that he uses.
Okay, for actually scooping up out the muffins, I like to use an ice cream scoop, but it's basically just a quarter cup measure. So you can do the pan a multitude of ways. You can just take the muffin pan and spray it with olive oil, add your batter, and then bake it. If you want to be extra mindful about cleaning up time, you can have the papers like I have here. But you're just gonna take your scoop.
And you have even greased the papers as well.
Yeah. If you want to make sure the muffins come out extra well out of the papers. Yeah, you just add the batter to each muffin container. And then once we finish this, we're going to garnish with a little bit of brown sugar cinnamon. And one quick note about the brown sugar cinnamon. Here I'm just using normal light brown sugar, but if you wanted to save extra calories, you could use a Splenda based brown sugar. although we're just going to be using a small amount of garnish, so it'll at max add 5 to 10 calories per muffin. And all the nutritional information for each muffin will be listed in the recipe.
Yes. So be sure to scroll over to heartmindsoulstrength.com so that you can see the full recipe listed out in case you've forgotten anything. And of course the measurements, it makes it a little easier. But you can see how quick and easy this has been to whip up. It's maybe taken 2 minutes total. And we're already scooping them out to bake. And we'll just pop them in the oven. Now, what temperature do you have the oven set on?
Yeah, so with a lot of protein baking, whey protein absorbs really quickly and bakes really quick. So we have this at a higher temperature to adjust for that. So it's going to be at 400. And depending on the protein powder you use and your oven, it'll go at 400 for 8 to 10 minutes. So we have that. We have the batter in the molds. All we're going to do, just take a pinch of the brown sugar cinnamon for each one.
Okay.
You're just going to sprinkle it. And this is all up to personal taste. So if you want a little bit more brown sugar cinnamon, you can also just use this batter as a base. You can add in blueberries. One of my personal favorites is caramelized peaches.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah, you can do strawberry. You can do pretty much anything. This is just a base recipe.
And one of my all-time favorite breakfasts are blueberry muffins. So I'll definitely sprinkle some in when I make this at home.
Yeah. A quick note, if you're gonna do a berry, you can put them in a pot with a little bit of water, reduce it down to a quick jam, and that'll make them even sweeter.
Okay.
So just something to keep in mind.
Awesome.
All right.
You want to give them a little look to see what of that?
Yeah, we have these.
There you go.
We're gonna
Awesome.
pop
So we'll
them
just
in the
pop them in the oven. And while he does that, it smells really good already. You can smell the batter and how sweet it is. So it's one of those nice recipes that you don't really cut on the flavor, which is nice. And how long will you have the muffins in there?
Yeah, so it's gonna vary, but around 10 minutes. Just around the 8-minute mark, just check them. Once they've risen, like a normal muffin will, you can test it with a toothpick. If it comes out clean and finished.
All right, so we'll give it 10 minutes and you'll see the final product. All right, so let's check on these muffins and see how they turned out. They smell delicious and look it.
Yep.
So
And then
just like that.
a good thing to do once they come out of the oven is to take them immediately out of the muffin tin, just to allow them to cool faster.
Okay.
One of the things with protein baking, if you keep them in their warm container, they have a tendency to overcook.
Okay.
So
Good to know. So pop them right out of the muffin tin, and he already has a nice, looks like a slate slab set up, so they look pretty, and you can serve them to your guests or your family right away.
yeah, one additional note with protein baking, you can get a little bit of bubblage on some of them. All these turned out pretty well, but if that's the case, just pull them out of the oven, let them cool, and you can cut it off, and you can't even tell it's even there.
All right. Corey, thank you so much. Be sure to check him out and follow him at CP Nutrition on Instagram and Facebook for more recipes and even some meal prep services that he does. And join him this Saturday, the 14th of March, here at Greenbrook Design from 10 to 1. He will be allowing some samples of his cookies and muffins, giving you some insider tips, as well as having the Life Enrichment Center here to share about a big concert they have coming up for their benefit. So join us March 14th and ask any questions that you have either below or in person if you come to the event. Thank you.